Hey guys, welcome. Today's topic I want to talk about, a recent discovery that I found when it comes to finding just a feeling of completeness and wholeness, and how to just feel complete. Because I noticed with myself for a while, for as long as I can remember, having a sense that something wasn't quite right, a sense of incompleteness. And this sense of incompleteness sent me on a journey to figure out what this was and what inside me didn't feel complete, and whatever this sense, there's this sense something's wrong. And I, went through this long process of, call it self-development and spirituality, fixing my life, just doing everything I could that would, bring this feeling to an end. And when I came to the spiritual path, I saw, I was like, oh, awakening. That's what I need to relieve this sense of lack. And it's funny because after having quite a few awakening experiences and all that sort of magic, this sense of lack still hung around. And I grew frustrated with it because I was like, I've done everything. Like, I've just transformed my whole life. Even externally, I'm doing quite well. And internally, you could say as well, as I've had awakenings, I've dived and done shadow work, I've just done all these things, yet there's still this sense of dissatisfaction that hangs around. And you'd think that waking up would get rid of this, because that's sort of what the experience. I don't know if it was like for most people, and usually the what's said in spiritual teachings is this sense of lack is a seeking energy that seeks something other than the present, and when the present is seen to be all that is, that should fall away. And I guess the seeking in some way did fall away, but something else remained, which for quite a while I'd been trying to contemplate, feel, get to the bottom of what it was. And it was a sense of unworthiness, which for whatever reasons developed inside of myself. And I think it's quite a common one that people experience. I think it's, it's stronger in others, but I think this is a core sort of wound everybody has, a sense of unworthiness. And this sense of unworthiness causes us to seek validation, seek things to make us feel better, seek money, seek fame. As I was contemplating this thing, I was noticing a lot of decisions in my life. Pretty much all of them were directed at gaining approval from others when I really looked into them. And it's a sort of uncomfortable truth, a hard pill to swallow, so to speak. And when you really look into your actions, a lot of them everything you say, everything you do can be guarded if you have this core wound, which most people have, of unworthiness. A lot of our life is orientated towards that. We all want approval and to feel validated from other people, because at some point in our lives something happened which told us that we weren't good enough, And since that point, we decided that to hide or to overcome this sense of we're not good enough, we try to become good enough. Or some people go the opposite way and they just sort of sink into that feeling of unworthiness and indulge in unhealthy behaviors and unhealthy lifestyles because they don't feel like they're worth anything to do anything better. So I discovered this and I thought, wow, this is at the core. Even my awakenings didn't dissolve this energy, this energy in the body of and the story behind it was I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And then I was like, what do I do with you, unworthiness? And I guess I want to explain in this video what to do with this feeling. And first we want to bring that feeling up. So if you can feel into your body and see if you do have a sense of very subtle sense of unworthiness. I don't know how to bring this up. Maybe you could think of situations where you were rejected or where that you remember the last time, maybe just remember the last time you didn't feel worthy. Maybe it was at work and your boss blew up at you for doing something wrong. Maybe it was your last breakup, or someone using harsh words on you, or someone speaking down on you. And notice that feeling in there. And for some of us, I know I found out myself that this feeling was almost constant, perpetual, but it was so far off in the distance that I've only become aware of it quite recently, just because of going through the layers of the onion. I noticed this was almost at the core of my being. And I think it's the sense that something's wrong, and it's an interesting one because it was unexpected, because I used to not, if you told me this a year ago I wouldn't have, but no, I definitely feel worthy. It takes a lot of honesty and truth seeking within and digging to accept that fact, because it's an uncomfortable truth to accept. And when you accept it, it comes up in full force. There's no repressing it anymore, because we all have these mechanisms of repressing this feeling. Whether we're just avid achievers, or we're always just striving for perfection, or we're using drugs and alcohol to hide the feeling. We're doing something to hide this feeling. So accepting it is uncomfortable because it makes it come out of the shadows, and you'll feel it in your body. You'll just kind of feel like shit, and it's not that nice. But if you have had awakenings and touched into presence, what we do is, yes, we first bring up the feeling by thinking about a time, or we just might be aware of it in our field of consciousness. And we can first just go, is this story, this feeling, I was like, is it true? How true and real is this feeling? Now, I'm not trying to repress it again with non-new language. We're just inquiring into it. How true is this story we tell ourselves of unworthiness? Does it hold reality? And also, is this unworthiness? Is this unworthiness me? Am I this unworthiness that is arising? And we'll see that we're aware of it. So it's not ultimately us, but it's quite strong, and it does affect us. It may be illusory, may not be us, but it sure does have an effect. And affects our energy and what we're putting out, and our interactions and all that. And then what we can do is when we look at the thing that is aware, when we're aware of this feeling, the awareness, we want to start tapping into our presence in the body as well. So we're aware of this emotion, but we're also being present in the body with the emotion fully. We're just fully being in the present with the emotion. And we sit with that emotion and we tap into our being, and we almost want to push our being, our presence, and not push the emotion away, but just put love into it. Put being into it. Being and love, the same thing. And we just want to almost just love this emotion, and not with the intention of getting rid of it. Because once we start forcing it away, that's not love. We want to just unconditionally, radically accept this emotion of unworthiness. We're not trying to tell it to go away or it needs to go away soon. Well, if you can, we're almost doing this not with the intention to get rid of it, but into the intention of not pushing this feeling down into the shadows and repressing it. We're just bringing it into the light of our own presence and just accepting it. And seeing that we are this being, we are love, and this being is complete. The sense of being we have is complete and fully fulfilled as it is, and doesn't need validation from anyone or anything. Even though there's this feeling of unworthiness there, we don't have to buy into it. We just have to, we notice it comes up, we just come back to being and give it love and being as us. Because this is a core wound, And this one it's not going to leave like that. And we don't need it to. Because we're being, and we can just love it as it is, let it be. Don't push it away, remind ourselves there is only now, there couldn't be anything else. And we can also use this technique on any other emotions that come up. It's bringing presence and being to them, not pushing them away or repressing them, embracing them. Maybe we need to cry, maybe we need to express anger. Maybe it just wants to be felt, wants to be heard. Because the unworthiness feels very unworthy when you shove it away and lock it in shove it away into the shadows. When you bring it out into the light, bring some peace to it. And you can almost accept yourself, accept the unworthiness, which in turn will dissolve it. But if you fight against it, it's just reinstating its feeling. But anyways, I hope this helps. And I'll see you guys on the next one.